from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Your source for the Department of Energy's environmental cleanup news. Energycast starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm Summer Dash. Welcome to your July episode of Energycast. Let's get started with some Energy Bites.
We're very excited to be here. We are hiring.
Out with the old and in with the new. As aging buildings come down in Oak Ridge, innovative businesses are taking their places. That means jobs, economic growth, and opportunity for East Tennessee. We'll take you to a workshop where business, government, and community leaders gathered to plan a promising future. Demo day on the Oak Ridge Reservation is never as simple as bulldozing a building into a pile of rubble. We got to be there as workers meticulously took apart the old criticality experiment lab from 1949. We're getting a front row look at how they do this and what once went on inside Building 9213.
And to see what the Department of Energy is doing on just a local level in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Grab your things, we're taking a little road trip. To catch Leon Shields for an interview, it has to be on the go because he is, always. He's tied in across East Tennessee, working in law enforcement, government, and volunteering in his free time. We're going to show you what he's doing for Oak Ridge and how you can get involved too. New businesses are coming to Oak Ridge. They are moving onto land the Department of Energy, Office of Environmental Management, has given back to the community. That means jobs are coming. New positions bring new neighbors to the area, and business owners, higher education leaders, and state and federal officials are working together to make sure East Tennessee is ready for them. They met for a workshop called Future Ready. Let's head out to Energycast's Cameron Jacobs, who is at the East Tennessee Technology Park for us. Cameron.
Summer, that was the goal of this land, to clean it up, transfer it, and then fuel economic growth. This right here was part of the K-25 site used for the massive Manhattan project. Now it's home to a new business. Leaders say the Future Ready meeting is a way to continue its growth. Bike paths, rolling hills, and glittering waterways. Sounds like the start to a poem, but this is the reality of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It's beautiful.
This area is just pretty spectacular.
And it's about to boom. The area, known for its history making impact on the Manhattan Project, is now the picture of growth. That's why all of these leaders got together to talk about how to plan for it.
Good morning. Thank you everyone for coming.
This meeting was hosted by the University of Tennessee Oak Ridge Innovation Institution.
So we started several years ago investing in our workforce development program.
For decades, the Department of Energy and its contractors have been working to safely take down old buildings. 1,300 acres of land have already been given back to the community and businesses are coming. The purple on this chart of Horizon Center shows land already claimed in 2017. Watch how much is now accounted for in 2022. And this chart of Heritage Center shows similar progression from 2017 to this in 2022.
And we've been welcomed with open arms.
Triso X will be here soon, and so will new jobs.
You know, the interactions with the community, the land that was available, what we were able to get the land for, just the local infrastructure and climate made it all, you know, just the best place to bring the facility and land it here.
The University of Tennessee has a nuclear engineering program, but that alone won't fill all the positions to come.
You look at one of the companies, they're going to have 400 employees. And then you looked at another company and they're bringing in 200 employees. Where are they going to get those 600 employees? We don't want them to steal from all the other companies, right? So we really have to bring in a new workforce.
Many business owners discuss plans for how to retain and recruit.
Now we're bringing in some earlier career staff. We're downloading the brains of the experienced staff, trying to kind of get them, not just one link, have succession planning, have multiple, hedge our bets with the staff that we're bringing in. And then I think when you go into the production mode with some of the craft type folks and technical folks, that's the kind of stuff that I'm starting to worry about right now. And so hence some of the conversations today about, okay, how do I tap into that?
The hope is to draw workers to the area, but once those people and their families get here, how does a small city like Oak Ridge support the population increase? County and city leaders in East Tennessee are preparing for all of it.
I meet people all the time my age, my generation, in my neighborhood or in the workforce that say, you know, I came to Oak Ridge for a one-year internship, or I came here for a co-op, or I came here for a postdoc. and that was in 1970 or 1980, and they're still here. I think if we can get people here to enjoy this and see it, then we have a lot to offer.
The goal now is to bring a poetic future to this picturesque place. Around 30 area leaders attended this meeting, and they say they're going to continue to communicate. As always, we will let you guys know if there is any scheduled meetings right here on Energycast. Summer?
Cameron, thank you so much. In just a few minutes on Energycast, we are taking you inside a lab, creating all sorts of things out of wind turbines. The VP of Knoxville-based Carbon Rivers was at that meeting. It's one of the companies moving the headquarters to Oak Ridge on former EM-owned land. When we heard what this startup was doing and the plans for the new location, we had to go see for ourselves. That's coming up. United Cleanup Oak Ridge is DOE's largest contractor in the area and gave $40,000 this year to fund STEM projects. That money is going toward 38 projects to be exact. It's spread out across 28 schools in our region. All buildings at the East Tennessee Technology Park are now demolished. The EM team has been working on this for years. Next step, tackling any areas with contaminated soil to complete cleanup there. The latest update is a year in the making. Last July, crews started addressing an area on the K-25 building footprint. You can see from this aerial footage the progress they're making there. The dig area you see spans about an acre. Workers have excavated 15 feet down. That equates to nearly 2,000 dump truck loads so far. Workers are expected to go down another 20 feet in some locations in the months ahead. After removing the impacted soil, crews will backfill the area with clean soil. That project is scheduled to be completed in 2024. We will, of course, keep you updated on the progress. We've got more video from Building 9213 demolition, known as the old Criticality Experiment Lab. It was home to more than 9,700 experiments between 1950 and 1961. Later, it was used to support the Oak Ridge National Lab High Flux Isotope Reactor program. The 24,000 square foot building has been closed since 1992. Now, getting a building to the point of demolition is a tedious and often lengthy process. Many people don't realize what goes into this, so we are getting a first-hand account of how it's done.
We are now commencing the demolition phase of the 9213 facility.
It's not what you think. There's no countdown from 10 followed by a big loud boom. Taking down an old, once contaminated government building is a process.
We call it the 4 Ds. So we decommission a building, we decontaminate it, we deactivate it, and then we demolish it.
Today, it is all about the demolition and the workers making it happen.
I mean, these are very skilled operators. They have a lot of experience doing demolition, surgically cutting the building.
Piece by piece.
So you see there, he's pulling out.
With precision and purpose, down to the debris pile.
Kind of position it over and lay it down.
And all of this in triple-digit weather.
It is commitment. It's a lot of, it's a hot day today. There's a lot of controls that must be put in place to make sure that we protect the workers from the heat.
To protect the environment and public health, these buildings can't simply be blown up to be brought down.
So he's going to go in here and start crushing and removing some of the sidewalls. You can see some of the block, and it does create dust, so we use that water truck as spray to help with dust suppression.
More than 9,700 experiments happened within those walls over the first decade alone. As impressive as the building's start is its end.
To me, it's the most exciting moment and the most rewarding moment, because this is where we have the skyline change.
The land will be reused for future missions as environmental management leaders watch with pride those who are working so hard.
They've got a lot of nicknames out here.
Got skills and jokes.
Oh, pucker lip.
Pucker lip! It's called letting off some steam, and while the buildings won't, the workers can. Because what you're seeing now is the culmination of years of preparation. Much of that done by employees you don't see here today.
Usually deactivation is about 3 times longer than demolition. And then the heavy equipment comes in like we're seeing here today, and they begin to do their thing. Everybody says, well, that's really exciting. There's a lot of glory in this. But I appreciate the question, because we should never forget all those crews that got us through those other 3 steps to get to the point to be able to safely and protectively bring the building down.
All that unseen work to get here, and demo takes just a few weeks.
So Billy, how many buildings does this make for you?
So this will be number 6 for me.
Each and every teammate around here is counting down to the next project, upcoming mission, new opportunity.
This is just a glimpse of what is to come over the next 10 years. We are really in the business of transforming.
3-digit temps, 2 hands full, 1 end goal. Now, you just saw a building in the demo phase, but there are others that haven't gotten to that point just yet. Before a building can be demolished, it has to reach what's known as the cold and dark phase. That's when the power is cut and it's safe for workers to go inside and deal with the interior. There are several other buildings across the Y12 site that are not at the demo phase just yet, but we do have an update on them for you. This is Beta 1. It's a former Manhattan Project building once used for uranium enrichment. Right now, workers are dealing with asbestos tile and waste removal there. Beta 1 and Alpha 2 are both in the cold and dark phase now. Alpha 2 is being deactivated. That 325,000 square foot facility was also used to enrich uranium until 1946. It was used for various other missions until it was shut down in the 90s. Now, last year, crews finished demo on the former biology complex. Right now, workers are removing its foundation and backfilling that area. EM is slated to give that cleared 18 acres back to NNSA this year to support their ongoing national security missions at the site.
It's where the biology footprint sat, so that we could eventually transition that back to the landlord, to the owner of the site for future missions.
Meanwhile, progress continues on the mercury treatment facility. That building is instrumental for EM to tear down the massive mercury-contaminated buildings at Y12. The treatment facility is going to prevent mercury from migrating into the nearby creek as those teardowns happen. We will have more updates on that as construction continues. Supply chain issues continue, but so does our commitment to this community. The Office of Environmental Management and UCOR have transferred some vital equipment to the city of Oak Ridge. The federal government didn't need 2 big transformers, 6 pad-mounted transformers, and more than 100 other electrical items anymore, so it was all given to the city.
This should be a big help to the city, and we hope it is. It also helps at on your recycle stuff. We don't have to worry about it going to a dump somewhere or just being wasted. The city's going to be able to put it all to good use, and we just tickled that is going to happen that way. Helps the environment, helps the city, helps everybody here.
EM has been giving land and infrastructure to the city for quite some time. It's all part of revitalizing the East Tennessee Technology Park. The site was once a massive uranium enrichment complex. Now all of those buildings are down and it is being converted into a multi-use industrial park. New businesses are already opening there. So far, EM has turned over 1,300 acres to the community, and more is slated for later this year. More equipment is also expected to be transferred. We'll let you know when that happens. What you're about to see is just a drill. We're going to show you some of the protocols that are in place during an emergency situation in Oak Ridge and how employees are trained to respond. This scene simulated 2 cars colliding while moving hazardous material. After the fake wreck, employees with DOE contractor Isotech closed off the area and alerted environmental management leaders. The Oak Ridge National Lab emergency response team headed out to help. The remote operations and hazardous avoidance unit sent a robot to get radiation readings. Again, this is just a practice. This event did not happen. We are reporting an emergency drill. Drills like this ensure employees remain prepared and know exactly how to respond during potential impactful or challenging situations. It's all part of DOE's commitment to safety. In your news from across the complex, we love to welcome people to Oak Ridge, and now more than a dozen state leaders from across the country know all about why, including Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally. 17 legislators from as far away as Washington State met here. DOE hosted and provided tours for the Nuclear Legislative Working Group during their 2-day stay. The group is headed up by the National Conference of State Legislators. Among other things, they heard about environmental cleanup efforts and how that work is creating new economic opportunities.
In this group, we are interested in educating legislators on these relevant topics. So anything related to the work being done by the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Environmental Management to clean up the nuclear waste, the nuclear weapons complex, or nuclear power issues relevant to them and the work that they do in their states.
Now, before they headed out, lawmakers also got to visit Y-12 National Security Complex, Oak Ridge National Lab, and Tennessee Valley Authority.
We never have to landfill again, ever, for composites.
What do bulletproof vests, glass fibers, and honeybees have in common? Carbon Rivers. The East Tennessee company with an environment-focused approach has big plans for future business. They're making old wind turbines into, well, a lot of other useful things. It's all moving to Oak Ridge. We're going to take you inside their current setup and show you what's about to change.
I get to sit on several state and federal boards and local boards as well. But SSAB was really one of the ones that I wanted the most because of the impact it serves, the historical value, the impact of the legacy, environmental management. You know, it tells a story of a lot of people before us.
In just a few minutes, we are heading out with Leon Shields. If you live in Lenoir City, you probably know him. If you live anywhere else, you're going to want to meet him. We'll show you the massive impact just one man is making in our community. But hurry up, he's got to get to his next meeting, so we're hopping in the passenger seat. Welcome back to Energycast. You just saw our tip information. Hey, do you have a story idea for us? Think hard, rack your brain. Is there someone who works on the Oak Ridge Reservation you think has a story we should share? Maybe you've got a super coworker with a unique story. It can be directly related to their work in the environmental management field or not. Maybe you know of a neat upcoming project we should cover. We are always looking for story ideas, and we really hope you'll help us with that. If you want to see the news end up here, let us know about it. You can email your story ideas and tips to oakridgeem@orem.doe.gov. The email, it's right there on your screen right now. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Really exciting business buzz to share with you. This is cool on so many levels. Earlier in this show, we talked about all that land DOE has cleaned up in Oak Ridge and turned back over to the community. Now, much of that land is owned by businesses. One of the businesses moving onto the land is called Carbon Rivers. It's expanding operations from a small place in Knoxville to nearly 400 acres in Oak Ridge. The Vice President, David Morgan, gave us a tour of their current location and told us all about their plans for the new spot.
Let's just create. Let's see if we can do it. Business philosophy and model is not can we do something, but how can we do something? We're a bunch of maverick disruptor engineers.
Woo, but still hot.
We take end of life and decommissioned items like turbine blades, glass fiber manufacturing, marine vessels, building materials, automotive manufacturing, all sorts of things like that, right? We recover the glass fiber from that in a circular economy, and then we provide the glass back to those suppliers for the next generation turbine blade. But it just means that we have to be very responsible as a steward of this technology. everything from lithium extraction from fly ash, which is quite exciting, to a neutron absorbing concrete for radioactive and shielding and nuclear industry and things like that, and working on the US grid as well with graphene and metal. This is really the perfect equation for so many different collaborators and the types of things that we do, whether it's in the nuclear space or the glass fiber sustainability space. Everything we do basically fits perfectly in this ecosystem. Oak Ridge is kind of a really fascinating place, as many people know, especially in the energy world, because you have tremendous pool of knowledge and talent, but you also have a space where people can develop and they can create and they can innovate. And so some of these industries, especially in the renewable space, they're green. I'll say we can make them dark green. Three or 4 years, our plan and our business model is to have multiple 200 ton per day systems throughout the world. There's no reason for composites to ever go in a landfill again.
And that's not the only fresh face we'll be seeing around Oak Ridge. There is a new environmental management leader in town. Tom Dieter is the Chief Operating Officer for United Cleanup Oak Ridge, or UCOR. That is EM's largest cleanup contractor, by the way. He has more than 30 years of senior project management experience. He's considered an industry expert in nuclear facility decommissioning. Our team caught up with him.
I had heard nothing but good all across the complex about UCOR. They've done a fantastic job doing cleanup out here, demolition, reducing the risk to the environment and the public and everybody. So I thought, geez, I'll put my name in on the proposal and see if we can win it. And by God, we won it. And it's just a great feeling to be here. This team is some of the smartest, youngest people I've seen in the complex, and I've been a lot of places, and they're just a wonderful team.
Dieter's got a long resume of decommissioning efforts in states across the country. That includes 5 commercial power generating and government-owned test reactors, 3 large high-hazard plutonium and uranium production facilities, and dozens of others. Welcome to the team, Tom. We look forward to seeing you around.
It's just a feel-good, help your community, help your fellow man legacy.
Hey, thanks for the ride, Leon. We're taking a drive with an East Tennessee leader. He's also a member of the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board. Find out what his work entails and how you can help too. You know, some things are just worth the wait. DOE's public bus tour is back with some new stops that history buffs are going to love. This time around, visitors will be able to tour the new K-25 History Center. The facility and exhibits tell the story of the men and women who built and operated one of the most impactful sites in American history. In just a few seconds, you're going to see that information on your screen, and after the break, we're going to show you what else you can find on that tour. Makes the heart grow fonder. There has been a big absence in Oak Ridge for the past 2 years. We are so excited to share that the public bus tour is back. Tours started on July 11th. They are scheduled to continue through November. The guided tour leaves from the American Museum of Science and Energy. It stops at all 3 DOE sites in Oak Ridge. During the 3-hour tour, visitors are able to walk through the K-25 History Center at the East Tennessee Technology Park, the Graphite Reactor at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and New Hope Center at the Y-12 National Security Complex. Guides share stories about Oak Ridge's rich history and exciting current-day missions. It's really cool. Check your screen here for the info if you're interested. Tours in July are offered Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These tours start at 9 a.m. They end about 12:30 p.m. They are going to begin running Monday through Friday in August. Cost is $15. You do have to be a U.S. citizen. You can buy tickets at the American Museum of Science and Energy in person or online at amse.org/bus tours. Hey, aim your phone camera right there at that little box on your screen. That'll take you right to that page. The phrase making an impact has become somewhat cliche, but there's just no other way to describe this man's work. Leon Shields was born and raised in Lenoir City. His impact, though, now stretches far beyond those city limits. It's 5 p.m. on a Tuesday, and this man's not done with work. He's leaving the Lenoir City Utilities building for another meeting. Leon Shields is busy, so grab your things, we're going for a drive.
How many uniforms do you have?
I don't know where to start to count.
You may have seen him or one of his vehicles around town.
Whether that's a patrol car, whether that's a fire truck or an engine. A lot of it just depends on what job I'm in, what position I'm in.
Deputy, commissioner, or volunteer. We couldn't possibly pick just one title to call him.
I'm very fortunate to have received from the community all my life. My parents are both public servants, so I kind of just walked in their footsteps and proud to give back.
But today, as we head to the municipal building, we are talking about his position as chairman of the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board.
I think it's very important for people to be knowledgeable of what Department of Energy does for our communities.
Mind you, he has no science background. He admits he loves the outdoors more than being in this car, but that's the extent of his environmental experience.
There's a family there that's meeting for a common cause to make an impact for their community.
The board is made up of community members who give input to DOE on plans for the future at the cleanup sites.
To know those tax dollars are allocated for environmental management, for cleanup, for processing, for all kinds of different aspects that the Department of Energy does.
Out of all of his involvement on boards and with organizations, he says this is the one where the impact is most obvious.
You can truly see it when you take that child out to that bike path and ride your bicycle on a path that the Department of Energy in the 40s was manufacturing under the Manhattan Project. But now your family is enjoying hiking and bicycling and canoeing and kayaking through the waters and the land that was turned back over to a private sector.
From his personal time to his professional time, for Shields, it's never about him at all.
You're the best, pal.
Yes, ma'am.
Even the brief moments alone he usually gets in his car were given to this interview, knowing his words may help his neighbors understand a little better.
Go straight into a request to the commissioners.
He says there are not enough hours for the work he loves.
It's not just what are we producing or what are we doing today, it's what generations to come are going to be impacted by what we're doing and how we make sure that those generations are safe and give a good environmental friendly impact to all of them.
By almost 8 p.m., his final meeting of the day is done. But don't let the clock fool you. His work is far from over. Should you ever need his expertise, ask for his commitment, or expect him to be there, consider leaving a parking spot open.
These are my friends, these are my coworkers.
Because Shields will most certainly show up. If you'd like more information on the Oak Ridge Site-Specific Advisory Board or to apply for membership, scan this QR code on your screen. Remember, no science background is needed. You just have to care. Aim your phone camera toward it, tap the link, that'll take you to the website. It's a busy summer. You know what that means. Lots more exciting stories in August. We hope you stay tuned. Here are some stories you can look forward to. Oak Ridge National Laboratory is about to start looking much different. We're going to give you an inside look at how our workers are getting former reactors ready for demolition. Plus, fewer homes now fall into an emergency sector. Those are zones DOE and the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency designed in case of a major disaster. We're going to show you, as cleanup progresses, how some of them are being eliminated. And finally, we are following up with a familiar face. We are talking one-on-one with Dari Gabriel about her internship and all she's learning this summer. Thank you for joining us for Energycast. New episodes come out on the third Sunday of the month. You can watch on air and online. We post Energycast episodes on our Facebook and YouTube pages the day after they air. Head over to follow us on our social media accounts. We are always happy to answer questions and share information with you there as well. And remember, if you work in environmental management in Oak Ridge, keep us in mind if you come across a story. We are always looking for news tips and story ideas from across the reservation. Email your idea to oakridgem@orem.doe.gov. Let us know there, and you might just see it right here. See you next time.